Illinois proved to the nation just how good they are with a win over Nebraska last Friday night. Is it Penn State's turn to make a statement in Happy Valley on Saturday night?
From LA to Piscataway, all Big Ten all year long. This is Big Ten 10.
This is the game of the week, no doubt about it. Number 19, Illinois, going to a white-out energy type of environment. At number 9, Penn State. Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. This is what it's all about. And this is the ultimate measuring stick game for both the Illini and the Nittany Lions. Let's start first talking about the orange and blue of Illinois and how this is a measuring stick game for them. Okay, you were ranked. Good for you. You beat a Kansas team that maybe isn't as good as we originally thought. Okay, then you go into Nebraska, their 400th consecutive sellout, and you beat them there as well. You've got your best start since 2011. Okay, now everybody knows you're good. But can you be great? Can you go toe-to-toe with a top 10 team, a team that has college football playoff aspirations, and a team that maybe even has Big Ten title aspirations as well? I think we're going to find out just where Illinois stands on the ladder, because if this is a team that can go toe-to-toe with Penn State in this type of environment and have back-to-back really good performances in two of the most difficult night environments in the Big Ten, I think it really shows just how far Illinois has taken steps up the Big Ten ladder with Brett Bielema here this season. But on the other side of the coin, you look at a Penn State team, right? We talk about the aspirations that they have this season. I think they're sitting pretty comfortable in that playoff type of discussion. But a convincing win against a good ranked team, I think, could certainly find a few more believers that they can go to the next rung of the ladder and maybe just be a Big Ten championship sort of team. How this game goes down, I think, is going to be very important to see how people view Penn State and how people view Illinois. We are going to learn so much, I think, about both of these teams and really their trajectory following this game on Big Ten Saturday night. All right, folks, let's dive into the nitty-gritty. Let's dive into the X's and O's of this particular matchup. Luke Altmyer, it is time for redemption. Now, when we talk about redemption for Luke Altmyer, I think what's happened so far this season is also a form of redemption. But this game against Penn State, you know number 9 in orange and blue certainly has this one circled. Luke had a disastrous performance in Champaign against this very Penn State team last season. Went 15 of 28, 163 yards, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 interceptions in that game. You know that he wants to be able to have a good game against this Penn State team to get a little bit of redemption. And Luke Altmyer is a big reason, I think, why Illinois as a team, right, it has been redeeming themselves as a program, and they're off to the hot start that they are. He has completely changed his tune. Right now, he is leading the Big Ten in passing touchdowns with 10, and he has not turned the football over. 0. I think that's maybe the most important part out of all of this. You look at that game last year, and you look at some of the other games that Luke played in last season, right? There were some turnovers. This year, he is doing a great job protecting the football. He is the only quarterback in the nation with 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He is the number 10 graded quarterback in the country according to PFF, and he has over 70% completion percentage right now. He's just so much more confident this year, and we're going to talk about Barry Lunney Jr. a little bit later on in this preview, and we're going to be talking about maybe some of the other parts as to why this Illinois offense is succeeding the way it is right now. But number 9, he is the conductor right now of this engine, and he is making this thing tick right now. And if you're Penn State, and maybe you've got that Bowling Green game at the back of your head where they were able to move the football. Like, I look at some of those scoring plays that the Falcons were able to get in that particular game. You saw Zakee Wheatley get beat. You saw Cam Miller get beat. So it's not just one guy. And I think if you're Illinois looking at that tape, you see some openings. You see some openings in the pass game. I think Illinois is going to have to throw the football in this game. I think Penn State's rush defense is pretty good. Like, you look at that really good West Virginia rushing attack in that first game. They only got 85 yards on the ground. I know Bowling Green got over 100, but I think that this is a really good rush defense. But the passing defense, I think the jury is still out exactly. Kent State is just, they're a bad MAC team. They've gotten blown out by everybody that they've played so far this season. So I don't think that's some sort of rebound or response. And that, I don't think that really tells us a lot. And like I said at the beginning, I think this is going to tell us a lot. And I think the measuring stick for where Penn State's secondary truly is and how they've responded and how they've rebounded this Illinois passing offense is going to be that test. And then on the flip side, I think that this is going to be a test for Illinois' passing offense as well to see just how good they are against a defense like Penn State. So that is a very interesting matchup. I think Penn State is going to be shadowing in the direction of Pat Bryant, as they should, by the way, because Pat Bryant has been the number one receiver on this Illinois team so far this season. In 3 out of the 4 games so far, he has got 2 touchdowns in those games. 6 touchdowns right now so far for Pat Bryant, and this season's, a quarter finished, so he's certainly gotten off to a hot start. Maybe this is the game where Zachary Franklin really has his first big game, where maybe more attention goes the way of Pat Bryant, and Zachary is able to get free in certain situations as well. That's the beauty about this Illinois offense, and maybe why it's doing as well as it's doing. I think a lot of people preseason saw the talent that was Zachary Franklin, and they went in his, they maybe shadowed a little bit in his direction. And now you see what Pat Bryant and the success he is having. That's what, when you got a good X and Z on either side, it certainly presents a challenge for some of these defenses as well. So Illinois needs to get that passing game going early. We saw it against Nebraska. They got that going. And then in the second half, they got the run game going. We'll see if they can achieve that balance against the Penn State Nittany Lions. Okay, let's get into my second point. And this kind of really is talking more about the Penn State offense than anything, but I think we want to know just how good Penn State is. How much have they improved, really, on the offensive side of the football? This is their first true test of the season. With all due respect to West Virginia, I think that this is the test to really show us just where Penn State is. And I want to focus in on the offensive side of the football. I talked about their defense already. I really want to focus in on the offensive side of the football. This is an Illinois defense that can be very aggressive and that can take advantage of creating turnovers via the throw game. I think Penn State is going to look to run the ball in this game, right? I think that you want to get Nick Singleton going early. I think that you want to get Katron Allen going early. Now, I thought Nebraska would run the football better against that Illinois front than they did. I think Illinois' defensive front has certainly been surprising. It's certainly improved. I think they're ahead of schedule, I think, from where we anticipated them to be this season. But I still think that Penn State needs to get that ground game going early on in this matchup. I think it's a little bit different. I talked about how Illinois needs to get their throw game going. I think Penn State needs to get their run game going a little bit and then be able to set up Drew Allar with some passing situations where he can really take advantage and get some big chunk plays down the field. Amari Evans has been that player so far down the field, and just get the ball to 44 and White. All right? I don't think I'm going off on much of a limb here. I think he's the best tight end of the Big Ten, with all due respect to Colston Loveland right now. Is he the best tight end in the country? Well, that might be a little bit more of a deep dive certainly right now, but he's not only a mismatch, for this Illinois defense. He's going to be a mismatch, I think, for a lot of defenses out there. So if Penn State gets that run game going and they're able to get good yardage there on first down, and then on the flip side, they're able to get it to Tyler Warren down the seam, and they're able to get it to Amari Evans and maybe Harrison Wallace over the top. Is this the game that Julian Fleming breaks out? He's been close to non-existent so far in this Penn State pass game. Maybe this is the game when people are focusing on Evans, when people are focusing on Warren, right? When we got to step up and stop the run game. Maybe this is the game where Julian Fleming really steps up as well. Just how good and just how improved is this offense? We're going to find out against Illinois, and I think we're going to really find out how good Drew Allar is against this Illinois secondary, certainly as well. And then I'm going to take one quick back look at this defense for Penn State as well. Because coming into the season, I and many others said, man, Abdul Carter, Dennis Sutton, they're going to absolutely wreak havoc coming off the edge. And maybe the havoc hasn't been created as much as people thought it would be. Right? And that's what's kind of the case for Michigan. And they had to go to their coming out party in terms of getting pressure against USC. Will that happen against Illinois? I think Illinois' offensive line, specifically in pass protection, has been pretty solid so far this season. I think that's a big reason why Luke Altmyer has been as successful as he has so far this season. But I think defensively for Tom Allen and Penn State, you want to play well in the early downs. If you can get Luke Altmyer into a 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9s or longer, and then you get those great pass rushers to pin their ears back, that puts you into an advantageous situation, especially with this environment around you. Let's talk about the battle of the play callers, because, man, on the offensive side of the football, this is as good as it gets. You saw how Barry Lunney Jr. was always one step ahead of Tony White. Will he be one step ahead of Tom Allen on the defensive side of the football? And then you look at Andy Kotelnicki as well on offense. I mentioned it at the top of this subsegment that these are two of the best coordinators. And I think this is going to be a play calling chess match. I think that this is going to be an absolute battleship type of war between these two offensive coordinators as well. I think it's going to be who can get creative on certain downs, because both these coordinators have proven that they can be very creative in their play calling. Who's going to have that advantage? Who's going to have that step? Who's going to be able to evolve as this game goes along? That could possibly be the difference in this particular football game between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Illinois Fighting Illini. This is going to be a good game, folks. 18-point spread. I don't see it. Maybe Vegas is really leaning into this night whiteout type of atmosphere. I think Brett Bielema and the Illinois Fighting Illini are going to come ready to play. All right, let's get into my prediction, and my prediction reflects that fact. I think that this is a one-possession game. I think in the end, the story of this game tells us that Illinois can compete in just about any game that they play, and I think Penn State, right, I got them scoring 27 points, 27-20. I got the Nittany Lions winning this game. I think Drew Allar is going to look pretty good. I think that this run game is going to be doing some things, certainly as well, but also I think Illinois, against maybe Penn State in their secondary, I think they're going to be able to move the football. If what we saw against Bowling Green, if those issues still kind of exist, I think Illinois could be able to do some things on offense. Man, I just have a hard time believing that this is a 3-score game and Penn State ends up covering that spread in this particular game. But that's what I think. I want to know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts, all things Penn State and Illinois, all things score predictions, in the comments below. Am I wrong by thinking that Illinois is going to cover in this game, or do you think Penn State is going to roll them on Big Ten Saturday night in Happy Valley? Leave all those thoughts in the comments below. I'm Big Ten Ted. We will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching Big Ten Ted, where it's all Big Ten all year long. Make sure to like the video to spread the word of Big Ten Ted to the masses, and subscribe to the channel for updates on Big Ten content that drops every day.